Good morning, people. Today is Sunday, February 11th. Is that right? 11th? Yep, February 11th, 2024, Super Bowl Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday, and I was invited to go to a Super Bowl party, which of course I will do. Because if anybody is going to invite me to something, I'm definitely going to go. So it's just a matter of factoring it in because I have these two books I have to read for class this week. Prepare a one-page paper. I already started on this one. So yeah, Super Bowl today. Who's playing? Not sure. I think it's the 49ers and the Chiefs. But don't quote me on that. Super Bowl Sunday. So, cool. And then 9 o'clock, church. I think I'll go to Trinity first today, and then 11 o'clock, Faith Fellowship. And of course, in the meantime, washing my sheets. Why? Because I do it every week. It's part of a routine. Right. It's part of a routine. So, but let's get back to our beginning. We are here at Department of Career Services, where our goal is simple: to help you get from where you are to someplace better. From point A to point B, point B, and then of course to point C. From you to get from point A to point B, that's it. No big deal. From Someday Isle to Successlandia, avoiding denial. The river denial. It's not a river. Okay. That's it. You have to do the work, though. We're just here to help you. Here to help you on your way. We're your swim buddy, your road dog, your pal, whatever. Your sensei. We're the person, we're the group, the team. It's not just me. There's other people behind me. Well, maybe not right now, but there are other people that are very involved in this, that want to do well by doing good. And that's okay. So here we are, 2 minutes and 37 seconds in. Our daily podcast is part of a daily routine. There's the podcast part, and then there's the post or pre-podcast part. I do my stuff pre-podcast, which is a breathing exercise, preparation, breathing exercise, attitude of gratitude exercise, examination, examine, daily examine exercise, and then project and go forward. Those we don't do here. So here we focus on generally planning for the day. Because if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. So we plan our work and we work our plan. If you get in that habit every day of doing the daily ritual, the two-part ritual, the podcast, watch the podcast, do the stuff, and then the icing on the cake is the worksheet linked down below. That's where the experts are. That's where the good stuff is. And just a little preview. Today, the meme is, what if you compared yourself to you? So this is on Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. Rule number 4, there is a link to a video where he's just talking about number 4. Also, he talks about the Pareto distribution, which I have a little description of and the proper spelling of, so you could look that up should you choose to do so. Okay? But let's go back, have a sip of coffee. Not too shabby. Good morning, Matt. Are you going to be watching the Super Bowl today, Matt? You going to church today, Matt? You're going to do anything on the productive end of the scale? Not going to church? Hell no. Now, that's kind of a good segue. into advice from an 80-year-old. Today's advice from an 80-year-old: avoid sarcastic remarks. Avoid sarcastic remarks. If your attorney were here, he'd say generally just answer questions that are yes/no questions with yes or no. In fact, they might say, don't say it out loud. Well, generally it goes like this: don't put anything in writing you might regret. Say it. Actually, don't say it. Just nod your head. It's harder to pin you down. Okay. But it's very difficult to know that if somebody's nodding their head affirmatively or negatively. But anyway, so habits, routines, repetition, repetition, repetition. So Matt has a habit, or he wants to have a habit, of being able to hit a target when he fires his weapon. So what does he do? He has a routine. He has repetition, repetition, called dry firing. So just another example: people who play musical instruments. Routine, repetition. Repetition is their key, and then habit. And then being able to do something so well that your brain non-consciously plays the piano. You could be thinking about something else, and your brain is playing the piano. Okay, let's get back to it. Looking at our worksheet today. Jordan Peterson, number 4. What if you compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to someone else? Another thing I want to highly recommend: the Prime Video, Amazon, Jesus, the Game Changer. I have a link to that down in the worksheet. That is a game changer. Rethinking death. Those two things in combination. That's what we should be focusing on from our spiritual side. What if you didn't worry about stuff? Matthew 6:25. So today, like yesterday, is G.school. G.school. Okay, so Matt got a new device to help with that. G.school, where we focus on the spiritual side, because at the end of the day, and has made pretty strong argument in Jesus the Game Changer, that we are not atoms in the void. We are not just atoms in the void, that there was something after. So if there's something after death, and it could be good or not good, I'm not saying good or bad, it could be good or not good, then wouldn't you rather it was good? And have a way to look at it that no matter what the bad, our existence is very short. In Jesus the Game Changer, they have discussion with Hindus that are born into a caste. And the idea is, if you struggle against your caste, let's say you're a untouchable, anybody in the 4 castes above that, they're not going to help you, because their religion, their belief is if they help you, they are fighting against karma. That everybody's supposed to follow the rules of karma. So that is, if you're in this caste, you're supposed to do the best and be the best, follow the rules of that caste, not try to jump into another caste, not pull somebody out of a caste, not help somebody in some other caste. That person needs to accept where they are so that they can move forward. So it's like you have this life, you get a choice, you can focus on moving forward, or you can focus on this life Like, this sucks, I'm going to make it better. But in this Jesus the Game Changer show, the Hindu talking about it was, no, Hindus don't help other people in other castes because now you're fighting against the rules of karma. And that means you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer. If you help somebody or you try to get outside of your caste, you are going to suffer. Well, that's being eroded in our Western world. It's not so stringent now. And I would say you meet any Indian people here, maybe they're just in the caste where you can get better, but they act more like Westerners than people who are different. And again, the point was of the show is about 2,000 years ago, say in the year 50. So let's just round it to say 2,000 years ago. You had a small group, a very small group, maybe in the thousands of people that were followers of the way, followers of Jesus. Very small group, thinking he was coming back soon. Get ready, he's coming back. He said he's coming back, get ready. You had a small group of people that were doing that, and you had the Roman Empire and the Persian Empire and the other empires. I don't know what was going on in China, but it was something. You had these empires out there, and you had this fledgling little group that followed a guy who was crucified very dishonorably, who wrote nothing, had nothing. And it just kept chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, till it got to a point, a leverage point, that it tipped the Roman Empire. And then the Roman Empire was probably going down. For different reasons, but it was the straw that broke the camel's back, but then it kept going. And then in the 1400s, 1500s, problems were starting to brew, and then it splintered off. The original thing kept going, Catholic Church, both the Orthodox and Catholic Church, continued to their path. New path springs up, and this thing just won't go away. Islam spun off for different reasons, and it is growing even faster. But Christianity, yeah, as people would say, Christianity, yeah. Looking at the worksheet. Okay, well, let's just talk about what if you compared yourself to you. So Jordan Peterson's thing is, what if you compared yourself to you just for today? Just for today, you compared yourself to you. You didn't compare yourself to someone else. You compared yourself to who you are compared to who you could be. So I'm thinking about the Zishu, why weren't you Jishu? So I can't remember the name. Rabbi, late 1700s, who his students asked what was he afraid of. He said, I'm not afraid of Moses or Abraham. I'm afraid of when I die, God will ask me, I'm going to say Zizu after Bill Murray. Zizu, why weren't you Zizu? Why weren't you who you could be? Goggins talks about this too. This is Goggins' big motivation, that when he gets up there and there's this life study, he doesn't want to be asked, why didn't you become that? Why didn't you do it? And I mean, look at the in the Rethinking Death movie, Parnia's lab at NYU, many of the occurrences of these post-death experiences, there is a life review. But you get to experience it from the emotions of the person you hurt. If that's what's on there, then you get to see how, you get to feel how they felt. by your actions. So compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Jordan Peterson says, focus on, if I could be anything I could be, what would I want to be 3 years from now? Then you ask yourself, okay, what would I want to do that was beyond that? That's just a trick question, because the answer should be nothing, because you figure out what is the highest thing I could accomplish 3 years from now, that I could accomplish, that I would accomplish, that I have the ability to do. What's the highest possible thing? So Matt, you can say to yourself, what's the highest possible goal I could accomplish 3 years from now? Where could I be 3 years from now? What's the highest possible thing I could be 3 years from now? And then say, well, what could I do more than that? And the answer should be nothing, right? Because that's the highest goal. And then you ask yourself, why should you do anything other than pursue that? And once you say, yeah, you know what, I should just pursue that. I get rid of all of this other junk that's confusing, complicating my life. I'll focus on that one thing. When you make the commitment to do that, when you program it into your RAS, and today, by the way, today is another reticular activating system thing playing Elkers on Waiteba. When you do that, so you should watch the TED Talk today. When you do that, the world will shape around that vision, and it will pull you towards it. And then for the times you start flagging, you have in your little quiver the things of, if I stay who I am, this is where I'm going to be. If I keep doing the things I'm doing, here's where I'm going to be. If I start drinking or using drugs or whatever it is, if I start doing that, here's where I'll be 3 years from now. And that's the thing, that's the fear that drives you forward. So you're being pulled by the vision of a better future, and you're being energized by getting away from what you want to leave behind. Okay, well, time is up. 17 minutes, another long one. My apologies, people. We don't promise it's going to be good. We promise we're going to do our best. And so with that, we're going to say Shivas and Shalom. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Right. Boom.